Now, basically, Zorp is a platform. You can think of it as a no-code platform for operations. What it actually does is it helps you build products for operations in just a matter of few minutes, right? So we are targeting like the entire operations as a vertical, but our current product focuses largely on deskless operations. Deskless in the sense people who are on the move to do their work. So it could be people working on field sales, people working on, your food delivery, grocery delivery, etc., or people working on home services, urban lab type of things, or people use this for dog walking, car washing, plenty of other use cases, right? So pretty much any internal use cases. So that's what we primarily focus on today. So what we will do today, without further ado, I'll probably, we can get started with one of the use cases. So any suggestions on what we can actually try out today? I can give you a few choices.
Yeah.
I'll launch a poll.
Yeah.
Can you guys see poll on?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, just feel free to choose.
I think I would go with the daily stand-up. Just submitting, obviously.
Sure. Shivani, any particular interest?
I think I would also go ahead with daily stand-up. Let's do this.
Sounds good. Yeah, it's pretty simple, right? So probably we'll do it in 5 minutes. Got it. Okay. So yeah, I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to get started with this, right? Cool. So like I'm sure all of you know about like what actually daily stand-up entails, but I'll let you say like what does it have? Like what are we going to collect with daily stand-ups?
So the tasks you're working on, I mean, that's one thing. I mean, obviously one question which feels very unrealistic, but they ask, right, of how are you feeling today? I mean, that's one question. Yeah, how are you feeling today? Right?
Yeah.
And the second is obviously on the tasks, and yeah, I mean, that's pretty
What
much
did you do yesterday? What are you planning to do today?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So fairly simple. All right, so let's get started. So I'm going to start with sharing my screen. All right, you should be able to see it now. Okay. So this is the Zorp dashboard. So what it is kind of like the central control center of pretty much anything you do on Zorp. Performs two functions. One is it lets you build the apps that you actually want to build. The second one is it also helps you manage, your people in your organizations, the work they have done, storing their data, analysis, etc., etc. But let's start with building the stand-up application that we actually want to build. So workflows, what you see is basically workflows. So Zorp actually works on top of workflows, right? So workflow is like if you know what process a series of steps which keep happening again and again, right? So the way we design process is called a workflow in simple terms. Now the Zorp mobile app comes up by default. It has a login, it has a homepage, it has all of these things. You basically design multiple flows within this same application, depending on the use case you actually have. Okay. So it'll all make sense as we actually go along. Now, when I want to create like a new stand-up application, what I'm going to create is I'm going to create a new workflow. So I click on a new workflow. You have a bunch of templates that you have available. You can use any of these. These will be ready-made applications. You can go like right away. But in our case, probably we'll start from scratch. So hit start from scratch. I'm hoping that this kind of feels self-evident. You have a couple of mobile app screens and it indicates how the first screen after it is completed moves to the second screen. It basically creates a flow, right? So this is like a simple workflow that we actually created. Now, if you have any complex workflows, you can add, multiple screens like this. You can connect them in like different ways, and you can create logic in how the app actually flows, etc., etc. So all those things are actually possible. But in our case, I'm assuming the stand-up application is fairly simple and straightforward, right? So you have, one page of the app where you can collect the, how are you feeling today, the input responses, etc. The second page is where it is actually, you just show a response saying that, hey, everything has been completed, right? Simple as that. So we don't need like multiple screens. So I'm going to just delete this. Okay. Now, once the flow is actually ready, it's time for us to start designing these screens. So the way we design these screens is just click, and you can use drag and drop. You can use these components on the left to drag and drop and design these applications visually. Okay. So instead of first screen, we'll probably call this, stand-up notes. Okay. And we will actually say that, hey, good morning. Hope you're feeling great today. Okay. So this is a simple way of like showcasing text on the platform. But we also want to start collecting some data about how are you actually feeling today. So do we want like a text input for how are you feeling today, or do you think like a radio button makes sense? Good, bad, great. What do you think makes sense?
I mean, yes, I think the radio button would make
Yeah.
sense, because that's exactly the question which puts a lot of people in pressure, right?
Yeah. How are you feeling today? And I can provide an option saying that fantastic. Oops. Fantastic. All right. And I can also add another option, and I say not so good. Right. So this is our actual input, right? Now, okay. So the next question can be that, hey, what did you do yesterday, etc., etc. The standard questions. So I'm going to drag and drop an input component. Oh, I didn't drag input component. It's an input component. What is actually 1 second? Yeah. Drag and drop an input component, and I will say, what did you do yesterday? One thing we forgot to do here is that we collected this input, but ideally I want to store it somewhere, right? In your some kind of like a database, like you store in spreadsheets, etc. So
Yeah.
that part we forgot to store. So each application Zorp actually comes with its own database. Okay. So the way you store any data into Zorp is by saving it to the database. So you can see that all the predefined data fields that are actually available, which gives some system related fields. But if you want to store any of your custom data, you can just create a new field, as simple as this. I'll say, how you feel, and just create. Now, whatever data the person selects, it will get stored in how do you feel. Okay. Now, again, what did you do yesterday? This is going to be a text input. I'm going to say yesterday. Okay, so I'm going to create another input for what are you planning to do today? Again, this will be another field today. And third is there anything blocking you? And again, I'm going to store this to another field. Okay, so the last mail, let's say, just for fun, let's say everybody's remote. So I'm going to add a camera upload, like a selfie upload. And I'm going to say smile. Okay, and I'm going to store that image to, all right, and I can say only cameras allowed, etc., etc. I'll make it optional. People are shy; they don't have to make do it. Okay, yeah. So this stand-up app actually is ready, right? So we have fully designed it. I'm going to go back and I'm going to, open the completed screen. Probably call this done, and I'm going to simply share it. Thank you for sharing the information. Cool. So this is done. Now all I have to do is so the app is fully done, right? Now we can actually start using it. So how do we start using it? All you have to do is just hit publish. So now the app you have created is live on the Play Store and the App Store.
But our workflow name we did not change.
I didn't change the workflow name. Sorry. This we call this my stand-up app. All right, so I'm gonna hit publish again. Is it? So now the app is actually ready on the Play Store and App Store, right? So there is no code, there is no download, there is no deployment, there is no approval from Play Store and App Store. Everything is actually fully live, right? So I'm gonna quickly. Shivani, I see your chat. Is there anything you want to ask?
No. Actually, I just mentioned, what we can do from this daily stand-up. That answer I was giving at the beginning
Okay.
only.
All right. Thanks. All right. Cool. So I'm going to share my screen now, the mobile phone screen. Just give me 1 second. All right. So let me enable creation. So there is a way, there is a setting where I can allow a person to create the stand-up application from their phone. Okay, so this is something you can control on a role-to-role basis. That means your engineers, you can say that can use this application, but let's say your operations team, they use something else. So this is something you'll be able to control. So I'm going to give access to my role, which I'm going to use on the phone. So just access, publish, and I'm going to share my screen. Can you see my phone?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to go to the Zorp app. So this is something you can download from the App Store and Play Store. Just open it. And I'm going to log into my account. It's very simple, straightforward login. And I'm going to hit create. And I have the My Standup app, right? So just create it. And I have the app in front of me. So I'm going to say it's fantastic. What you do to yesterday, worked on the marketing campaign. What are you planning to do today? The Zorp demo is demo. Is there anything blocking you? Nothing right now. All right, so I'm going to take a picture. Oops, yeah, I just save the picture. And once uploaded, I just hit complete. Okay, so my stand-up report is actually complete. That's all it takes for somebody to create an application, deploy it, test it, and go live. But this is not going to solve anybody's problem, right? Like, where is this stand-up update? Like, how do I see it? How do I see it? What is the point of doing all this? Now, there are a few ways, right? So one very easy or simple way is that Zorp provides an interface where you can simply go, open the task you just created, and you can see all the data, like what hours a person has entered, and pretty much in real time, right? So all of those things are actually possible. But if I were let's say a product team or a growth team, what I would want to do is I want to send this information to some of the existing tools I'm using, for example, Slack, right? So as soon as I update my stand-up, I want to push this information in real time to a Slack notification so that people can see it in real time. So all I have to do for that is go to this CTA. So when somebody clicks on this particular CTA, so the CTA is what we represent as a transition over here. Here, I can just add an API action. You have the ability to trigger external APIs. So this is what we call an automation. You provide and Slack notification. Okay, and you provide the Slack URL and you provide whatever data you want to provide, right? So I'm going to demonstrate this in a little bit. Okay, so since I don't have a Slack account right now, so this is a site which gives you a sample webhook. It works in the same way as what like Slack actually works, right? So you'll be able to see the data in a similar manner over here. So I'm going to paste this URL. And in the body, I'm going to give the message. So messages, new stand-up completed. Okay, and I'm going to say things like, daily, what do you say, feelings. Let's say, can say something like data dot Hadoop field. Then I can say yesterday progress. I can say things like plans today. I can say today, right? So simple as that. So once I give all this data, all I have to do is hit save. Now our integration is actually complete. I'm going to quickly verify whether that data fields are. Oh, it's called how do you feel? Got it. Edit. How do you feel? Hit save. Now I'll hit publish. So the next time I make any, like I run the stand-up application, I should be able to push all the data I've collected in real time to an external service, right? Actually, why don't I send a smile also, right? So we have a smile image. It actually send the smile image also. Oh, save, hit publish. Now I'm going to redo the stand-up application. Okay. Say create stand-up app. I feel all right. What did I do yesterday? Plans for marketing. What do I do today? The Zorp demo. Is there anything blocking you? Not at all. And let's say I take a picture. Right. So I upload this picture and I hit complete. Okay, cool. So now, if I go to this site, this is where we wanted to push. I see that there is an update happened around this time. And here I can see all the data that I have collected by the app in real time pushed to an external service, right? Think of this as the same message going to your Slack. So once you have your Slack webhook, you just paste it over there. The same message will be pushed to your whatever channel you actually want. So it's a quick way for you to integrate with pretty much any platform that is actually out there, right? Yeah, that's kind of covers how you can build an entire application using Zorp. Thoughts, questions?
Awesome. So we can utilize the third party applications APIs to push it to any sort of formats. Okay.
Correct. So we have pushed data to spreadsheets. We have done it with Airtable Superbase. We have done it with all sorts of CRMs. So we have all sorts of ERPs, a lot of internal systems that people actually use, etc. So we've done more than like 50 different integrations today, right, across different services. So pretty much any system that has like a REST API, we should be able to integrate with them right away. Yeah.
Awesome. And do we have the white label? I saw that the pricing has a paid version for that.
Yes.
Is it coming soon? I mean, do we have that running right now?
Yes. So we have recently launched white labeling, right? So any company that actually wants a white labeled application in their domain, in their Play Store and App Store, so they can actually get it from us actually.
Got it. So you mean to say the downloaded Zorp app would basically be a white labeled app?
So they, like, for example, let's say there is a acme.inc. Let's say there is a company called acme.inc and they want to use this provision, but they want it to be under their name. So once we create this application, we'll let the company publish the application, which is acme.inc partner app or
The Play
app,
Store to the
in their
iOS.
Play Store and App Store. All they have to do is download that application once, and every time you make changes over here in a similar way, their application will actually modify. There won't be any difference. So it's their app under their brand, under their developer account, everything.
And the post processing of Android to iOS, the app launch is basically by the user. I mean, Zorp doesn't take the responsibility of getting that published on the Play Store or iOS.
So you have to publish it once, like every time there is an update, basically. right? So once they like that, obviously it comes under their responsibilities because it's their brand, their account, etc. So getting the approval from Play Store and App Store, updating their privacy policy, all those things become their responsibilities. Yeah, but we can provide, like, based on what we've actually done so far, we can provide the assistance in terms of how to go about it.
Cool. And is there a possibility of getting the UI tweaked? The UI tweaked. I mean, is there an option in Zorp which helps the?
Yeah, we have minimal design options today. Like hopefully we'll be able to add more and more. Like for example, we have the ability to show border or remove borders, right? And the same way we have we can work with the colors, the label size, etc. So these are some basic things we actually have available. But hopefully we'll add like more and more simple stuff in the future so that it becomes this thing. But the UI is kind of like restricted to different rectangular cards that kind of build the entire UI. That's kind of how we are actually structured.
So is that so? You're saying it's on your roadmap to?
Yeah. So we plan to keep enhancing it more and more, so to kind of make it easy for our customers to design slightly more. But I don't think we'll ever be like comparable to like a fully customizable, like built from scratch kind of like an Android, because we are not trying to build a consumer facing application. So we are focused on operations where like the UI tweaks and other things are like probably less important compared to the reliability, like legibility of data, etc., etc. That's kind of the area we want to focus on.
Got it. When we say the pricing is per user, so per user means the person who has the admin control, or how is that?
Yeah, so anybody who uses the application is going to be charged as a user, right? Like for example, if you have like 30 people in your sales team who's working on this application, including the admins and including the people on the ground, so they'll all be considered as users. So we take the point of active users. That means if the person has used the application within the time period, we consider them active. Even if they are part of the system, but they didn't use the application, we don't charge them actually.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's great. And Bala, I mean, I'm curious to know which are the domains you're seeing when it comes to Zorp. I mean, is it just the physical operational side, or even it's the ticketing system for tech and other stuffs as well?
So right now we are largely focused on like the physical deskless operations, right? So that's where we actually focus on, because that's where the need is.
Is it your positioning? Is it your positioning of Zorp, or how is it? I mean,
yeah, that's kind of what we are actually focusing on, because that's what we will be able to solve better. But over a period of time, we want to help people cut across all sorts of operations. That means like if you want a customer support operations, or if you need something like a revenue operations, etc., we should be able to help our customers better. Yeah. So the reason for that is, even for deskless operations, there is like an approval process. There is like a second order process which happens with people in the office, right? So the desk system is definitely not something actually is needed. So that's how we actually think about the whole thing.
okay. And do you think that is there any prerequisite for a non-tech guy, right? A non-coder guy, to understand some basics of how a product flow or user flow needs to be done, and Zorp does that basic walkthrough.
Right.
Because yes, I mean, I can proudly say that, okay, since I've been working with tech and aspect, I can do few coding and integrations at least, right? From Zapier to something on an automation level. Geeky, it sounds geeky, right?
Yeah.
Now consider someone like my father, right? Who happens to be at in a construction or a metro type of a company, and he wants to build a attendance type of a taking app. I mean, obviously, it's going to be a challenge, right? So, do you feel that is there something where he can adapt, or he needs a guy like me or someone like you?
Right. So the way we think about it is that we're not. That's why we are not a primarily no code platform. We are a primarily an operations platform. So no code is a way for us to kind of evangelize this thing, right? So what that means is, we think about our end customers, who are people. A lot of people are like, let's say, your father and my father, right? Who doesn't have the tech chops to figure out this whole thing, right? But is a product is useful for them? Absolutely yes. So how do we actually make it for them? The way we think about it is, by pre-package a lot of stuff Okay, so that they don't have to think about how do I build it, but they only have to think about, hey, how do I actually tweak it for my use case a little better, right? So the first step of that is what we have actually done with this entire templates. Now today, if let's say somebody has a sales team and they want to run a sales team, all they have to do is hit this template, okay, and hit publish. That's all they have to do. Sorry, yeah, so hit publish. That's all they have to do, right? So that it makes it easier for them to test out and like kind of use the entire application. And when they want to change, like our idea is that when they use it, when they want to change something, they just open it and like probably add this one component and they're actually done with their custom changes. So that's the first step of us making it easier for people who don't have a lot of tech jobs, etc. The second step, which is never going to end, we're going to do it forever, is how do we actually simplify whatever we are doing right now, so that a person who doesn't have like a lot of information or a lot of understanding about like how tech systems actually work is able to understand. Like even the integrations, right? How do we remove from like a boxy black screen, write text and JSON context? How do we actually remove that? And how do we do like a visually help them actually integrate through authentications or whatever, etc. So those are some of the areas that we are continuing to invest actually. The third is where we are actually very different from a lot of pretty much any no-code tool out there, is that we are also building a support structure kind of in parallel, right? That means anybody who needs help with some of these basic things, or how do you actually get started, it's even included as part of our plan. Like we have certain onboarding hours we actually spend with our customers so that they get onboarded like quite seamlessly, because all it takes is like the first few hours to get onboarded. Like once you get onboarded, it's like any other application. You go ahead and start using it, right? So that's an area we are actually investing in. So we will continue to do a lot of work over there to kind of make it easy for people to go ahead and start doing it. But yeah, it's going to be a never-ending journey for us on that note.
That's cool. And you want to keep this as a B2B approach on an enterprise level.
Yeah, so I mean, it doesn't make sense for us to go for a B2C because most of operations actually happens in B2B, right? B2C, it doesn't make a lot of sense, but it is free for anybody who wants to like do something on that. Like let's say you want to have personal finance management. So I use it, right? You can definitely build an application, use it for free. Like there is no charge for you to do that. Or one of the things I do is that when I travel for my company, I use it as an expense management app, right? So those are use cases I can simply use without spending any money. It makes it super easy for me to do. So those cases, we don't plan to charge. We want customers to use it more and more so that they can actually get the utility out of it.
Got it. That's awesome. I think Shivani, I'll open the stage for Shivani. I've been asking questions. Sure.
Hey, Shivani.
Okay, hi Bala. So I did not have much questions on the different. I think, as you said, it is free from everyone. I think I would like to try it out and understand more of it. But I think whatever you have built, it's looking quite good. So all the very best.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
Well, I've shared you a couple of screenshots. The white labeling app, Kashif was interested, right? So we can show.
Yeah. Actually, why don't I show you this? This is quite nice. So this is how our white labeling application actually looks like, right? So this is a screenshot from an actual app that we have created. So you can go with your own custom branding, the custom logos, etc.
Are you sharing the screen by any chance?
I'm not, is it? Oops, sorry. Give me 1 second. Okay. Do you see this?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So this is kind of how like a custom white labeled application actually looks like, with the customer's branding, their logo, etc. And it'll appear as something like a Swiggy partner app or Swiggy vendor app, etc., etc. So download and like pretty much anything you do within the application, the branding will kind of convert to their own. So there is no mention of Zorp, but there is no suggestion that it is actually built from a different platform. Yeah, this is kind of how a native app actually looks like. And by the way, these are not like the apps we build. These are not like some web views put in some mobile application. These are actually fully native Android and iOS apps. It's just that the IP or the technology we have invested in is how do we use an existing application, but kind of morph automatically into different versions based on what the customer is designing on their builders. That's basically what we have actually invested in as a technology.
Awesome. That's really cool. Great. And then when I'm sorry if I was just curious, who exactly is your TG when it comes to B2B? I mean, obviously, if you're going through the B2B route, there are like multiple decision makers and other stuff. But who exactly, according to you, in a firm is the right ICP for you?
For us, it depends on the firm. Mostly it's the head of operations, like a VP of operations is who actually kind of jumps in. Sometimes it's the technology leader. It's either like the product leader or the CTO kind of like jumps in, right? It varies from firm to firm, but mostly it is like the head of operations who becomes the ideal target.
And the user is basically subjective to the use case.
Yes.
I mean, it could be.
Yeah, sometimes. So there are firms where it is a logistics firm, but they use us for all the expense management, the warehouse monitoring, like audits, etc. is a big use case. So those are the use cases we get used. There is a supply chain company where we get used across all their procurement. Right. So there is there is a mobility company where we get involved in all kinds of onboarding, KYC, etc. So the use case tends to differ from like company to company and not even kind of like relevant to the industry. Right. Yeah.
Awesome. That's really interesting. And that's how I see Zorp doing a lot of content marketing stuff on the internet, and that's great. Cool, Bala. I mean, that's really good. Yeah, I mean, I'm done for my side. If you have anything on a user level, if you want me to like answer something, I would be happy to answer. I usually, I'll let you know. So the purpose of me getting on different product calls or is to understand what's happening with the early stage startups, right? And in the matter of fact, you understand how you operate. I mean, the user questionnaire and all those things. That's exactly why I'm like more curious, because that's why I could take back to my sort of startups which I have and I can apply it to. So that's exactly how I'm too much excited about getting on such community meetings and all this stuff.
Yeah, I can understand. I am kind of a similar person.
And I think Shivani has raised her hand. Yeah.
Yeah, Balas, I wanted to understand, like, is it like build a product, okay, and any feature on it, so any company can like directly use it, like for its company level, their employees can use it. Like, for example, you showed about, daily stand-up, or for any other subject matter, it can be, right? It just hardly takes, I think, 5 minutes max to create the product, and directly on the Play Store, you can go and download it, and on an organization level, everybody can use it.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
That's the whole, like to give you a sense.
It's like a one-time development, that's it.
Correct. Yeah. So to kind of like elaborating on the point, you kind of touched on a very important point. So kind of elaborate on that. Imagine that you are doing something like an e-commerce delivery, which is like a very, very standard thing, right? Now, for you to simply build a delivery application. So delivery application, why do you build it? So you build it basically so that your customer gets tracking on what the person is. So like, where is what is the status of delivery? Second is that, let's say you have like 10 plus people. You need to know where they are, what they are doing, are they delivering on time, etc. Third is, are they delivering the right product? Because one of the big problems in e-commerce is that people end up delivering the wrong product, right? And your labor cost is basically on a per day basis. So you spend around $700 on average in India per person. If people are not doing enough number of tasks, that means you're losing money because you've already paid $700. Okay, so this is the reason why you end up building a delivery application. Now, for you to build it, what all things do you need? you need mobile application for your users. Okay. You need a desktop platform where you can see all the orders coming in, and you need the ability to assign these orders to the individual drivers. Okay. Now, the last thing is the mobile application needs to be able to route the person to the customer's location automatically. And once he reaches, deliver the product and probably do cash on delivery or get signature from the customer, etc. So this is kind of how like a simple, very simple delivery application actually works. For you to build something like this, you need a mobile engineer, you need a backend engineer, and you need a desktop engineer. At least one. Like without one, though, it is not even going to happen. You actually need more than one. You probably need like some 2-3 people. And because there are multiple systems involved, you'll also need somebody like a product manager / designer, right? Maybe 50% people are actually spending over there. Now you're looking at a team of around like 7 to 8 people at this point in time. Okay. Now you need to like figure out the design, development, the architecture, etc. Then you have to build the product. After you build the product, the first time uploading to Play Store and App Store is going to take about 3 weeks to a month. And after that, you need to roll it out, test it out, and then you go live. Easily, this process takes about 6 months to 7 months, right? A best case, you've done this before, you know what to do, etc. It's going to take you at least 3 to 4 months. Okay. Now, if you look at like around 7 people, and you're doing like 4 months of time, right? Like, so the engineering cost and the time you're actually spending alone will actually get you around $600,000 to $700,000. Okay, just to build the first version of the application. And you're going to spend like around 4 months to even before you see, best case scenario, before you see like the first output of it. Most companies don't have that kind of money, right, to build such things. So that's kind of where, imagine the same application can be built in 3 minutes, go live, and that is the first step. But every time there is a change that needs to come in the application, which is obviously going to happen, right? You don't need an engineer. All you need to do is spend 2 minutes, make the change, and instantly you go live to start doing it. That means the amount of things you can do on your operations becomes much, much more. You do more things much faster. You get more data. You tweak your operations so that you can get more out of the existing team that is actually out there, right? So this is kind of how, like, why we actually started. Because building a product for operations is like a real problem out there. I just gave delivery because it's like a normal application, but pretty much with anything. You'll not believe the kind of problems we actually face. Like one of our customers, they are into fintech. They go do document collection, etc. And they have an application. There is an application for fintech to do document collection, etc. Their problem is along with the application, they also carry a piece of paper, because the application says like, hey, these are the 5 documents you're supposed to collect. But for them, from existing customer, they want to collect only 1 document. From a new customer, they collect 5 documents. New customer repeat usage, they collect 3 documents. And the way they collect document depends on whether the amount of money they are actually taking loan off, and the location they're supposed to go to depends on whether they are in office or home, right? There are a lot of factors. The flow tends to differ quite a bit for each of these different factors. Okay. But the problem why they actually came to us is because even that we could manage with paper. Like even if it is actually inefficient, we were able to manage that. But the problem is our guys stopped working because they have to go out, take Xerox printouts, and they have to run a whole different process just to reimburse those Xeroxes. Because customers don't have a way of actually taking it. And that became a big pain. And we have no way of actually solving it. Right? So the small problems which we actually don't think about in operations become like super big for people, right? So that's why our fundamental belief is that you can't build a SaaS application and solve any of these problems. Because I've used SaaS application in the past. They are okay up to like some 20-30 people, and beyond that it doesn't scale, right? So we think every company needs to have the ability to build their own applications, which is very custom to their own processes. But they need to be able to do it without spending a lot of money and resources into this. So that's kind of what we're actually trying to solve here. Sorry for the long ramble, but hopefully it's some
I think it covered a lot of other things.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Awesome. All right.
Also, one more question follow-up I would like to ask is that if you have to tell that how much tech friendly is it for any organization if you're, trying to convince them to use your product. So how would you say like how tech friendly is it? At what level of in the organization any employee can simply go and create it? Like who would be the ideal person to do so?
Right. So, I mean, the current version of the product for us is probably usable by somebody like in a product group, right? It is not like fully for a like a non-tech person. Can they fully use a platform? We probably are not there yet. That's something we need to solve for. That's something we actually actively work on to kind of make things easier and easier. In fact, one of the biggest updates for that is something coming up in the next month, which we are super excited about. But like today, a product manager probably can, take it up and build this entire application from end to end. But where we want to be is that we want to make it super easy for, a novice business user to be able to pick it up and, get started with the application itself. That's kind of where we want to get to.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. All right. Any other questions?
No, I think pretty much clear. I would really want to work. I mean, on the free version of it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I have a pretty few use cases which I wanted to build in the weekend. I would go on that and I could get back on the Slack channel with some questions if I have.
That would be fantastic, actually. Yeah. So yeah, the best way you can actually help us is to, try the product out and share some genuine feedback. I think that'll make a lot of sense.
Absolutely. We would love to do that. I would love to do that.
Great. Hey, Afraid, anything else you want to cover?
No, but I think we pretty much covered everything.
All right. Sounds good, guys. That's all we have for today. I think thank you so much for attending, right? And yeah, feel free to get in touch, to actually the thing I'm connected with both of you. So feel free to get in touch at any point in time. All right.
Absolutely, Bala. Thank you. Thank you, Bala. Thank you, Afreed. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys.
Sure. Thank you, Bala. Thank you for the demonstration.